I did not see Donna's text that she needs this phone back. Will you run it up to her?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
All right, I'm gonna start this.
Okay. Both cameras ready? Yep.
All right. All right, you guys ready? You've seen this on TikTok. You know a lot of them pretty much everything, right? You okay with being on live? Oh, yeah, we're on TikTok, Facebook. We're on all the different socials. I don't know what he's posting on today, but we're on all socials. Yeah.
So, I'm doing it, she's not.
Oh, okay. All right. Oh, you give me a camera and I'll take lots of pictures for you. Sure, yeah. Let me grab another camera. I mean, another tripod on the speakers on the tripod. You want to take that out of case so I can put it on this tripod and I'll video the whole time? No. It's coming out of case of our thing. If it is, I can. All right, come on in. This is Flash. Flash is a two-fingered sloth. Alive in the world today, there are two-fingered sloths and three-fingered sloths. And today, I'm going to be teaching you about a sloth, and you're going to feed him his breakfast. Come on in. That way. So Flash is going to eat pretty much all of this. And let me show you the basic rules of the game. This is food, this is not food. He can't see the difference between the two. His vision is horrible. So this one you put in his mouth and this one you don't. Don't put your finger inside of his mouth, don't put your finger inside of my mouth. Either one of us may bite you if you stick your finger in our mouth, but neither one of us are looking to. I'm going to show you one thing about the way a two-fingered sloth moves, and then we'll discuss that while you feed him. You see, he can rotate until his hips and his shoulders are facing directly the opposite direction. And I'll explain to you why on that in a minute. And you just give him his food and he eats it. And he's going to eat all of that. We're going to be here about 30 minutes. You don't need to try to jam it all into him in the first 5. And for purpose of photos, you can stand approximately this close to him to take your pictures. I'll be happy to take your pictures for you. I know it's on video right now. And but if you want to get some stills, I'll be happy to take those too. And let me see, how do I take a still during a video? Let me just stop the video and then I'll make a picture for you. Oh, it wasn't running on video, that's what's wrong. All right, if you want to step right in there close to him, let me take a couple of still pictures for you. And I'm not the world's best photographer, but I'm pretty decent. Hey, Flash. Yeah, he is softer than he looks like he would be, isn't he? So this is Flash. Flash is a two-fingered sloth. Alive in the world today, there are two-fingered sloths and three-fingered sloths. Differences between them. So taxonomically, they are still called two-toed and three-toed, but the two-fingered, three-fingered nomenclature makes a little more sense because they all have 3 toes on the back feet. Two-fingered have 2 on the front, three-fingered have 3 on the front. Beyond the number of toes, there are some
How often do you have to trim your nails?
never.
Never. Do they bite your nails?
No, we keep the bark on the trees, and as they climb on the trees, their nails naturally wear down. So you can see where the wear marks are in his nails right there. And it's not really ideal to need to take a Dremel to a sloth's claws. A lot of places do. They keep their sloths like in metal cages and such as that, so they don't get the opportunity to naturally wear down. But the last bone of their finger is inside of that claw. So really, I mean, nature's way is the best way. So we just make sure we keep all the bark on all the trees in their environments here, and their claws just naturally wear down over time. The differences between a two-fingered and a three-fingered sloth, if you look at a skeleton picture of one, it makes more sense. So and this is just a Google search of sloth skeleton image. So the two-fingered sloth, which is him, this is him. The two-fingered sloth has 5 vertebrae in the cervical spine between the skull and the shoulders, and it has no tail. The three-fingered sloth, has 9 vertebrae in the cervical spine, 3 vertebrae of a tail, far fewer between hips and shoulders. The three-fingered has arms longer than their body, but legs much, much shorter than their arms. You see how long? That is the bone inside of the claw. This is a skeletal picture. So see, his whole claw has that big bone inside of it. The two-fingered sloth, which this guy is, the 5 that are missing from the neck and the 3 that are missing from the tail are all between the hips and shoulders of the two-fingered sloth. So that is why a three-fingered sloth would turn its head 270 around like an owl with that big long neck. And the two-fingered, with all the extra vertebrae between hips and shoulders, will turn until hips and shoulders can be 180 out from each other, facing the exact opposite directions, which is what I showed you with rotating around, following the food.
He doesn't seem to want the carrots or the...
He'll get to them.
He will?
Yeah, it's sweet potatoes, zucchini squash, yellow squash, and green beans. And that is his veggies for the day. During the day, he'll eat about a full pound of leaf material, but he eats the leaves just in his dish in there. And whatever he doesn't mop up during breakfast goes into his dish in there. He doesn't have to perform to get his food. He gets his food even if he didn't come down in the day. His diet is exactly the same.
Can I touch his head or no?
You can touch his body like this. He's not super fond of you touching his head,
Okay.
but he's quite a bit softer than he looks. You can touch the top of his head like that. None of them really like to be touched on the dorsal side at all. They, if you look at him though, his hair parts along the belly and comes back together on the back side, because you know they are by nature upside down animals, and so that's the way that the water sheds off of them. And of course they live in the rainforest, so they see a lot of rain. The sloth though, they are by design upside down animals. You can see that he's entirely comfortable hanging upside down. He can be vertically upside down like this, he can be horizontally upside down like that. He also can be right side up, sideways, whatever. So with all of those ribs that we saw in the picture, he's got all this connective tissue going back and forth between his ribs and all of his organs. So his organs are held in position and orientation the way that they should be all of the time. Our organs are just sitting in our pelvis and upper bounded by our diaphragm. If we were on an inversion table like this for a long time, it would put back pressure on our diaphragm until we were short of breath. And he is not so. His organs are position and orientation where they need to be by all this connective tissue, no matter what his body position is.
You know, I've seen videos of sloths swimming.
Yep.
Does he swim? Do you ever
He
put
doesn't
him-
like to swim.
He doesn't
We've
like to
tried to put him into water and he is not a
He
fan.
does not like it.
No, but this guy, none of these animals were ever in the rainforest. Our animals are generationally further removed
Is
from...
he born here?
No, he was born for a breeder who breeds for zoos. The other ones were born from a breeder who breeds for ambassador animals. And we'll talk more about Zoe when we see Zoe here after this one. But these sloths are pretty amazing animals. But I was saying these guys generationally are further removed from the rainforest than I am from the American Revolution. they would have absolutely no idea about the rainforest. So, you know, mother, grandmother, great grandmother, great great grand, I'm on up the chain.
So is there a difference in personality between the two and the three-toed?
I've never had a
Never
three-toed, so
had
I'm not well qualified to say.
Why is that? Do breeders...
Three-toed eat almost exclusively Sarcopia leaves, and Sarcopia trees don't grow in the continental U.S. So keeping a three-toed sloth would be similar to keeping a koala. If you go to get a license for a koala, they will tell you need to budget for 1 to 4 koalas. You need to budget $600,000 a year to feed them, because you have to own or operate a private jet to do nothing but fly back and forth and get eucalyptus leaves to feed them. And Sarcopia trees are closer geographically than what eucalyptus leaves are geographically, but still it would be frighteningly expensive to source Sarcopia leaves to feed a three-fingered sloth. So they are pretty rare in the continental U.S.
No?
He just eats what he wants to. That is his daily amount of veggies. He may eat them now, he may eat them later. But so when they're hanging upside down like this, you know, if you or I were trying to hang in this tree, a minute would be a long time to do a 2-arm hang, and that's because this is our stress or exertion state.
Right.
This is our relaxed state. The sloth, his tendons through his hand and forearm basically are really super tight. So clamp down like this, this is their completely relaxed state. So he is exerting no energy at all to hang in that tree when he's hanging. If the sloth's life ended while hanging in the tree, he would not necessarily fall. He could continue to hang there non-living for days or weeks until something rotted or until something knocked him out of the tree. And you can see he's perfectly happy hanging from one oar for 2. He just was hanging by one and rotating his foot around right there.
Try and grab his own.
He'll just drop them all over the floor, but you're welcome to let him try.
What's the matter, baby? What's the matter?
He's just seeing what else you got.
No, I don't have any more grapes.
Sloths operate not by vision, but by smell. So he's wanting to smell and see if there's anything else in this dish, and he'll find out that there's not. You're like, is there an egg? Is there fruit?
How old is he?
6 years old.
So he is full grown.
He
This
is,
was
yep.
smaller than I thought.
Yep, that's as big as he can get. And he may in a few minutes go back to that, he may not.
Is that typical for a two-toed?
It is, yep. And a two-toed is about 25% bigger than a three-toed is.
Oh, it is bigger.
Yeah, a three-toed and a two-toed is built like a truck. A three-toed is built like a sports car. But it would be a Barrett Jackson Auxit show sports car that just gets pushed across because it ain't going anywhere fast. The two-fingered sloth, this guy was raised to be in a zoo, so he did not come here people-oriented the way that our ambassador sloths did. So doing his encounter, this was 2 years in the making. Now you can force an animal to eat from your hand, just don't feed it any other way. But in my opinion, that would make an adversarial relationship, which isn't what we want. So for him, his food, his dishes are right there. That's water, that's food. And so to get him eating from my hand, it was take a piece of food out of his dish, offer it to him, maybe for an hour or two, and then if he doesn't want it, back in the dish it goes. So he gets the food whether he would eat from my hand or not. So it took about a solid year until he would consistently bypass the dish to eat out of my hand. And it was another number of months until he would consistently eat from a stranger's hand. And I am this sloth person. I've been with this sloth. I think I've missed 20 days in 4 years.
Yeah.
And if I went on it recently on a trip to Turkey, and while I was gone for 10 days, the sloth was just not right. And because I am his person, but yet I have never held this sloth. So he did not come here oriented to people, and he loves to be right with me. He'll rub his face against my face. He'll sit and run his fingers all through my hair like this. He'll rub shoulder to shoulder with me, but he's never made any move to move onto my body, and it is his choice, not my choice. We don't make animals do anything they don't want to do. So he'll hold my hand and he'll sniff me all over, and he'll check me all out, but he has never made any move to move onto my body, and that would be his choice. Now, I do wish that he would,
He licks
because,
you.
yeah, because then he would be able to go out for walks like the other ones do. After the sun is, not blaring in the sky because it's too bright for their eyes. We take him out for walks and he can't go because he doesn't want to be held. But, I have a hard time conveying that to him. So,
Aw.
he misses out on the walk time, but he does have his outside enclosure. He goes outside every day that it's above 70 degrees out.
So he has separation anxiety from you if you're gone too
I
long?
am his person.
So they have one person, or they can have
Oh, no, he likes everybody. He likes, outside of me, Tatum and Kevin are his two favorites. Zoe's person is Donna. Donna has spent, I would say, over 3,000 hours with that sloth in her lap. The downside to being Donna is she is tied to the chain to the computer in the phone all day, every day, answering calls and texts and emails. Upside is she always has a sloth or another animal that will be joining us soon, hanging around her neck pretty much all the time.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, what a dream job you guys have.
Yeah, we work ridiculous, crazy, stupid hours, but we like what we do, so.
I was saying
It works out.
it's a lot of work.
It is, yeah.
An enormous
Yesterday I worked from 7 in the morning to 10:30 at night. And my wife works more hours than I do. But we like what we do. At least I do. Donna sadly has the job of being at the computer, and what's the fun in that?
Yeah.
But she does hold animals pretty much all day, every day. So anyway, about the sloth though. So everyone knows that sloths are slow. Sloths are famously slow. Not that many people know why a sloth is slow. So a sloth's primary diet is leaves. In the rainforest, he eats about 90% leaf material. Here he eats about 75% leaf material. So leaves are very low in nutritional value, very low in caloric content. So the sloth is working on an extremely limited energy budget. So limited, in fact, that a sloth cannot maintain his body temperature. So in the rainforest, the daytime high temperature is in the mid to upper 80s, nighttime lows in the high 60s, and his core body temperature will follow that range of temperatures throughout the day, every day. He is technically warm-blooded, but he can't maintain his body temperature, just not enough in the energy budget to do so. A female sloth can only nourish their babies with milk for about 3 to 6 weeks. There are other studies that suggest it's as short as 2 weeks, but 3 to 6 weeks is what they generally tell you. I've never nursed a sloth, I don't know. Sorry. This time of year, allergies hit me, and I had chemotherapy, so my lungs aren't normal. So most people sneeze, I cough. I'm not contagious, I won't get you sick. It's just annoying to listen to for the next 2 weeks till those yellow flowers die out. So, most mammals produce, store, deliver milk for their young. Sloths have no deliver, just produce, they have no store, just produce, deliver. They cannot store any milk because they don't have the energy budget to produce something that's not critically necessary at that time. So the baby latches on, the mother produces milk drop by drop as the baby eats it. Baby sloths come out fully functional, full teeth, claws, hair, eyes, everything is ready to roll. They drink milk from their mothers for somewhere between roughly 3 and 6 weeks, but they do start eating solid food on day 3 or 4 of their life. For the first couple of weeks, they eat the food out of mom's mouth. The mom bites the food, chews the food, baby eats the food out of mom's mouth, not swallowed, regurgitated, but just chewed. That is how the baby, look how he's hanging sideways like that, it's kind of cool. That is how the baby sloth gets its initial gut bacteria colony, is as the mom chews the food, it's spreading the bacteria on the food. Baby eats it, that's how it initially colonizes its gut bacteria. So the sloth is slow, can't maintain its body temperature, doesn't produce much milk, almost never loses a hair. It doesn't shed even as much as a person sheds. We lose 15, 20 hairs every day, and we grow new hairs every day. Not a sloth. No energy for replacement hair. The sloth grows slowly. It isn't mature until it's about 3.5, 4 years old. Now, you're going to see Zoe next. Zoe is her full body mass, nowhere near her full maturity. So as you look at Flash, his claws are huge, his teeth are huge, his hair is long. These are visibly the most notable differences between Flash and Zoe. When you see Zoe here in a few minutes, you'll see that her claws are quite small, her teeth are quite small, and her hair is only about half the length of Flash's hair. She does have her adult hair coat, the grayish, whitish coat that comes through their baby fur. Their baby fur is chocolate to espresso brown. And their adult fur goes through the baby fur. You know, it gives them warmth, and it also, the color of it makes a palette for all the moss and algae that are going to grow into it for his disguise in the rainforest. He's like, why am I not paying attention to him? So, I don't know what he's doing.
So, have you ever tried to breed?
No, we don't have an adult female. And we haven't at all determined if we ever will breed.
You have to have a special license for breeding, or?
Technically no, but as far as getting them to survive, there's a lot that goes into it.
Really?
The guy that we get our ambassador sloths from is a doctor of veterinary medicine who's been doing it for 30 years. And I don't feel like I'm at all qualified compared to him. So, I don't know. If sloth numbers got more critical in the wild, I may consider breeding just because, you know, the world needs more sloths. But as far as resupplying our sloth colony here, no real need. These guys will live 50 years. So, you know, in my lifetime, I don't have to put a whole lot of thought into that. So the sloth. The sloth eats a tremendous amount of food. His food is super low calorie, like we discussed, but he eats a tremendous amount of it. He is eating around 10% of his body weight every single day. That sloth weighs 15 pounds, and he is eating approximately 1.5 pounds of food every day. That is about, here it's about 75% leaf material, and the rest mainly veggies. He gets 2 hard-boiled eggs a week and 3 servings of fruit a week. The sloth, though,
hard-boiled eggs.
yeah, he does. He loves them. Yeah. So in the wild, the sloth, when he's in the top of the tree, he is almost entirely safe from predators. When he's in the top of the tree, a snake cannot find him. He has no natural smell. He has no scent gland, musk gland, sweat gland, none of that. So there is no smell to a sloth. Some people online ask, don't they smell terrible? No, they have no smell whatsoever. Now, in the wild, they smell like moss and algae and whatever rotting crap is in their fur. But the sloth itself has no natural smell. The sloth has no body temperature. Snakes hunt by smell and temperature. So it is literally impossible for a snake to find a sloth. If they found a sloth, it would be pure coincidence. Cats can't get to a sloth. The sloth hangs upside down on the tree, and when he sees motion, end of the branch, get to the end of the branch, and then the branch is like down like this, and the cat is trying to walk along on the top of the branch to get to the sloth. I mean, it doesn't work, right? If the sloth presses the issue to the point that the branch breaks and the whole mess falls 100 feet to the floor of the rainforest, the sloth, built like a truck, will almost certainly survive a 100-foot drop to the floor of the rainforest. The cat will almost certainly not. So the sloth will look over the cat and he'll say, ha, ha, and back up the tree he will go. So even though the sloth is safe in the top of the tree, yet he comes down the same tree, same side of the tree, to go to the bathroom in the same place that he always goes. So the reason for that is the sloth-moth symbiotic relationship. In the wild, not here, praise the Lord, in the wild, sloths need moths and moths need sloths. There is a type of moth in the world called a sloth moth that lives nowhere on earth except in the fur and in the waste pile of a sloth. The sloth, it's symbiotic, meaning beneficial to both sides of the equation, where parasitic would be beneficial to one, neutral or harmful to the other. The benefit to the moth is that the sloth is the food source and living environment of the moths. The sloths specifically are eating the moss and algae that grow all in the sloth's fur, and they are then fertilizing that moss and algae via their waste. There will be 100 to 150 moths living in the sloth's fur at any given time. And when he comes down the tree, all the way down the tree, right to the ground, given that he eats 10% of his body weight and goes to the bathroom only 3 or 4 times a month, 7 to 10 days between trips down the tree, he is going to eliminate 1/3 of his total body mass when he comes down the tree. Putting that to human perspective, I weigh approximately 180 pounds. So that would be me starting from 180 and eating 18 pounds of food every day. So I would eat and eat and eat and eat and eat and eat some more, and then I would eat and eat until I got to about 240, and then boom, all the way back to 180 in about 2 or 3 minutes. So eliminating literally for him 5 pounds, 1/3 of his body mass every time he goes to the bathroom. When he's wide awake, he's listening. That's why he's pointing his head our direction. He is smelling and he is listening. That's how he experiences his environment. His eyes have a structure called rod monochromacy, meaning he has all rod. Say what?
It's only black and white?
Yep, all rod cells, no cone cells. And more specifically, if you've ever seen a movie where the guys are running around with night vision goggles on and they see all blobs in front of them,
Yes.
that is how a sloth sees. So he cannot see the difference between me and you. He knows what I sound like and he knows what I smell like. So he knows who I am, but not by sight, the way that you would know who I am. You would have no idea what I smell like or sound like unless you're around me a whole lot. But
How much do they sleep? It's not. I
So
heard
they-
it's not as much as people
number
say.
of hours per day, a lot, but they sleep and eat, sleep and eat, sleep and eat. So by my personal observation, in the daytime, they sleep for about an hour and a half or 2, and then they're awake for an hour, hour and a half, something like that. And they eat, every time they wake up they eat and play around and do whatever sloths do, and then they take a nap again.
Yeah. Do they play? Do they have
that
any
is the
form of play?
Until I got that sloth, I did not know that sloths could be playful. Last night was Friday night, so she was up at the house for family game night. She likes to reach up behind and try to grab the pieces off the game board. She likes to try to grab the pizza out of your hand, even though she doesn't want to eat pizza. It's just, being playful. So yeah, they do play. But they're completely solitary animals. They don't play together. When we get these two within sight of each other, they couldn't care any less. Now he'll try to go in her room, but only because he's interested in her room. He couldn't care less about her.
Okay.
And when a female sloth weans its baby, it just ditches, just leaves. That's
I'm
it.
just gonna ask you.
So our babies come here when their mother, of their own volition, has weaned the baby. We don't pull babies from mamas. Well, I'm not the breeder. I don't pull anything. But he doesn't ship my next sloth is already bought and paid for. I have no idea when it will be here, and there is no hurry. When the mother weans the baby of her own choosing, that's when the baby will come. But it is being held by people every single day. Hello?
Hi.
Great, stay left at the pond, turn right on the first gravel drive, come to the pavilion in between the 2 barns.
Hi.
Pavilion, between the 2 barns, yep. So the the sloth, lost my train of thought. The benefit to the moth is the sloth is the food source and living environment. The benefit to the sloth is that as the moths fertilize all the moss and algae all in the sloth's fur, that is further camouflage for the sloth. Second, as the sloth grooms himself, which that's how he grooms himself, he does not get bathed. As the sloth grooms himself, he licks up a certain amount of the moths themselves. That is the sloth's protein source. Third, and most importantly, as the sloth grooms himself, he licks up a certain amount of the waste of the moths. The waste of the moths is where the sloth gets his bacteria colony from that digests his food. If the sloth's moth colony should perish, the sloth will perish along with it. 30 days later, he will succumb to starvation, not due to lack of food, but due to lack of ability to digest the food. Now, why does he not need moths here, you might wonder? And that is because first, they don't need camouflage, nothing is here hunting him. Second, he doesn't need protein, he gets 2 hard-boiled eggs a week. Third, he doesn't need the bacteria. Now, humans also have helpful gut bacteria. Our gut bacteria will last throughout our lives without a second thought, unless we take a long course of antibiotics. If we take a long course of antibiotics, we need probiotics or Greek yogurt to fix our gut health back up. He's never heard of GNC, he doesn't know what Publix is, so he's not getting probiotics or Greek yogurt. So his replacement bacteria comes from the waste of the moths. Here, he doesn't need it because what would interrupt his gut bacteria colony is cold temperature. We never let a sloth get cold. So as long as the sloth never gets cold, his gut bacteria colony will last throughout his life. And then we carefully maintain his diet. That's the other thing that goes into maintenance of a bacteria colony in our intestinal tract. If you ate nothing but sugar, your gut bacteria might go haywire. And same for him. If he ate nothing but fruit, he would have serious health consequences for that. He's a pretty cool animal, isn't he? Wait till you see the next one. The next one you do hold.
I'm so excited.
Okay, let me ask you an off-camera question. Step in here for a second. Did your daughter not sign up because there was not a spot?
She didn't sign up. She's not she wanted to be able to come in.
There was a second person who signed up during this half hour, so I thought maybe you had the opportunity to sign up. That person canceled. So if she did want to sign up the other half, she could have invited us. But if she's not, no worries. Oh, sorry, buddy. My gosh, I just opened the door right into him. Hey, stay here, Bob. Come on.
Wow, he actually moved faster than I thought from
Yeah,
here
he's
to there.
capable. Online, they'll tell you a sloth can only move like 12 feet per minute. I've seen this guy every day move at least 40 because when he's up in the top of the tree, if I open the door before he comes down, I say, hey, Flash. And he comes scurrying right down. It takes him about 30 seconds to make it from up there to out here. So that would be at least 40 feet per minute. But, you know, they could be talking speed over distance, and I'm talking about, you know, max sprint speed. Our next person ready?
I'm about to grab him. Do you mind if I move your truck?
Oh, I only meant to pull up for a minute. Is it still running?
It's not running, but it's right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great. Please do.
Okay.
So he scurries right down. Usually he's down before I get here, and somebody just cleaned this glass yesterday. Usually there's smears all over his side of the glass where he's like, come on, it's time. And if I'm 5 minutes late, he'll be in here beating the heck out of the door like this.
Oh, he does?
Yeah, like that. And you're
So
like,
they have a good sense of time.
oh, he does.
Obviously.
Yeah, I mean, they're creatures of habit, and you would think with, they all do have natural light, so, you know, they have a daytime and a nighttime. And, you were asking about his sleeping and waking habits. At nighttime, in the daytime, they take naps for an hour and a half or 2. In the nighttime, they nap for about 3 to 3.5, 4 hours. But they don't ever sleep 8 or 10 hours in a row.
Okay.
They sleep,
That's a
wake,
common.
eat.
That's
Sleep,
a common
wake, eat.
misconception. I hear that a lot. All
Yeah, that
sloths
they
do
might
is
sleep for 20 hours a day.
Yes.
He eats 10% of his body weight every day. He couldn't eat in the amount of time
Oh, he
that people
loves
think that he's
you.
awake. He does. We're buddies, but he's a good boy.
Has he ever bitten you?
No.
He just licks you.
Yeah.
Nice.
So we always give a caution not to put your finger in his mouth. You'd be surprised how many people like try to stuff food down his throat or something. And so we always give a caution about being bit. And if a sloth did bite you, if they broke your skin, you need antibiotics. They have bacteria all in their mouth. And his teeth are huge. But there are other sloth encounters out there that they pull the sloth's teeth. And I think that's a horrible thing to do to an animal. But you know, you can save on your insurance if you have an animal that's not capable of biting someone. But I always do give a disclaimer when we're doing a live to say, please don't look at what we're doing and think it's a good idea to buy a sloth. It is positively not. There's a lot that goes into caring and even keeping these animals healthy. And there is no reputable breeder of sloths that will sell a sloth to a member of the general public who's not licensed as a zoo. And it is legal. They just, you know, it's just a bad habit. Nobody would do that. And so when you see sloths that are for sale on the internet, these are sloths that were taken from the rainforest for profit. And
That's gross.
according to slothconservation.org, those animals have an average lifespan in captivity of 2 months. And
Really?
you'll see us holding and petting animals that snuggle with us. That is similar to a house cat versus a feral cat. If you buy a sloth off the internet, you're getting a wild animal. If you see a sloth here, these are pet animals for many generations. And similar to your house cat, that will sit in your lap and purr while you pet it, and everybody has a wonderful time. That's the way this sloth is. If you try to hold a wild cat in your lap, it will not purr. In fact, it will try to claw your eyes out and get away from you. That's the way that a sloth will behave if you buy one off the internet. Please don't do that. Also, if you see a sloth encounter and they're booking that sloth for 8 and 10 hours a day, that is all about the it's love of money, not about the love of sloths. Please don't participate in those. Not saying there's not other good sloth encounters out there, just look before you book, folks. All right, do you want to do Zoe?
That's fine.
And I will do Flash again?
Sure. Yep.
All right, your
gonna go
next
ahead.
group is here.
Yep, I'm
And
gonna go.
Zoe is one and done today.
Oh, okay.
And this is her phone.
Yep. You want to bring that in there with us? Yeah, for sure.
All right, you want this chair?
Yeah, that'll be good. Watch out, Flash.
Zoe likes to be petted a very specific way. That is low on the back, like this. Even when she lays upside down in your lap like this, which she very likely will, she does not want to be touched on the belly side. If you touch her belly, she's going to be like, "Rah, leave me alone." Even though she's like just laying there, just like, it looks very much like she wants to be petted on the belly. She absolutely does not. She likes to be petted like this, slow like a sloth. So go on in there with Kevin. He's gonna set you up with Zoe.
Come on in. My name's Kevin. What was your name?
Susan.
Nice to meet you, Susan. And you can have a seat right there. I'm gonna grab Zoe. And we're probably gonna get to feed her a little bit too. I'm gonna adjust your camera for you. And Zoe sees me, so she is like wanting to come to my friend. Hey, Zozo. Hey, come here, sweetie. Come on.
Is it running?
I think it's. I didn't turn it off. I can restart it. So you want.
No, I just wanted to make sure it was running. Okay. You are so lucky to work here. I'm so envious.
I have an 8-year-old daughter, and she loves coming to work with Dad. Let me grab this little stuffy right here for you, and I'll double check your camera for you. Let's see here. Yep, you're still recording. Alright, so I'm gonna tell her night night, and then she's gonna lay on this, and then she's gonna come to you. Night night, Zozo. Night night. Night night. You give her claws on your picture, and it's just the same. And we're gonna feed her a little bit of food, because she's gonna be excited. She's still hungry. And so what you can do is you can take this hand, and I'm gonna put this food in it, and she's gonna eat it.
And I'm gonna show you something real quick here. 2-finger sloths.
Is that fun? Is that okay? Okay.
You'll see can rotate until it's hips for 180 from your shoulders. Shoulders facing direct that way, hips facing that way. So you use right now literally 180 apart. One from the other.
And then I'm gonna try to move your camera over here so we can get her face when she's feeding. And then whenever you empty that, you can just reach in and get a little bit more. So you get a little bit of extra bonus of feeding her, because we had to run to the store to grab some more veggies this morning.
Yeah, absolutely. You can stand approximately this close to Flash to take a
So where are you from?
Northern Virginia.
Oh, cool. Beautiful up there.
They don't like to be roughed, they don't like to be scratched, but you're welcome to pet that guy. He's probably softer than you think he's going to be. So, you can come on in, and,
There you go.
this is his breakfast, you're welcome to feed it to him.
So Zoe's birthday was December 16th, and that's when she turned 1. So that's when she came down here. Before that, she would, always stay at the house with Donna. So it weighs about 13 to 14 pounds right now. So she's gonna probably pass Flash very soon in terms of weight.
Oh, really?
She's got a good appetite.
Is that, but females are typically smaller, I would guess, than.
They are, but like a lot of people's size and growth has to do with how they were fed as small children.
Mhm.
So we feed her very well and we take care of her and she's not stressed. So, sometimes if children are very stressful childhoods, it's a lot different. Everybody's different, but that's my analysis.
So for us, our guts are sitting in our pelvis, upper bounded by our diaphragm.
Did he tell you the reason that there's not usually 3-toed or 3-fingered sloths in North America?
I asked him.
The sarcopia ladies, yeah.
Yes.
They love to eat that because a lot of people are like, I think I saw a 3-toed or a 3-fingered. We're like, probably not occasionally, but it's just their diet needs to be very specific.
So he was saying that Donna was her
Yeah,
favorite.
yeah. She spent a lot of time, as do all the animals when they get here up at the house.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're just around that person all the time and then you hear the voice. She loves to cuddle the sloth, not Donna. Maybe Donna does, I don't know. But I was even trying to mess with the cameras one day, and Zoe wants to cuddle so much that she came out of there and got on my back, like just getting on me.
Really?
Not in a mean or aggressive way, but it was the world's slowest wrestling match.
What you doing?
She just wants more food.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I'm coming.
She's like, it's empty. Yeah. And again, like John was saying earlier, because their vision is so bad, they really rely on their sense of smell and their sense of hearing. But as you can see, she's really comfortable with just holding on to people. And she's darkened up a lot. When all the sloths are babies, they're very, very dark.
Mm-hmm.
Like Dash is still only like 7 or 8 months old. And he just came out of his fully black stage, and now he has some color on him. But it's funny because during winter he was so black, people would show up dark sweatshirts and hoodies. They're like, "Take my picture." I'm like, "It looks like you have lit
Oh,
black."
right.
Yeah.
No, I don't specifically know how it works for a sloth. I don't know. I guess I should read on that.
She's
How much does she weigh?
about 13 pounds.
13.
Mhm. Yep, she's getting really close to Flash's weight. Like, I would say her body already weighs more than Flash's because she's so thick. She's just waiting for her limbs and everything to grow a little bit more.
Need one more?
Oh yeah, she'll eat that whole thing.
She eats a lot.
hmm She has a great appetite.
And she actually plays in here?
Yeah, she loves to climb around, and especially as soon as she sees one of us walk by or something, she wants to move. And then right now, Fluffy is outside, which is the porcupine that you see there, just the top of. But soon they'll be getting their own enclosure, and then Zoe can go outside. So she'll have her own outdoor area right there also.
Oh, nice. Also, is that her little ear?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And when she's eating, she doesn't mind as much. On this side, so you can see right there. Okay, it's gonna be right there. If I can look down. See?
Oh, look at that.
That's her ear. Isn't that cool?
That is very cool.
Yeah.
She has excellent hearing for such a
Excellent.
tiny little ear.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, baby.
And you can get her another handful. And I would say relative to their size, their ears are the same size as ours. It's just that they're very small animals compared to us.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a great sense of smell too. So with Flash, a lot of times if we're getting him down in the morning, he's not quite down yet, I might peel open a banana, just blow on the banana, and he'll smell it 2 stories up and be like, banana, I want to go down. It's really cool.
So this is a 2-fingered sloth. They have more of a sloth.
About 7 or 8 years ago, I was considering taking my daughter to Costa Rica
Yeah.
because I had a sloth rescue because I've kind of been obsessed with them for quite a while.
Right.
But then I had checked the State Department and they're like, nah, probably not, and she was like 16 at the time.
Right.
I thought, maybe not. And it's funny is that she and her fiance he got an internship over the summer and they lived in Ottawa and I came and visited. I had no idea.
That's
this place.
crazy. Yeah.
So then we drove 12 hours yesterday so I could
Where do you live now?
go to Virginia.
Oh yeah, that's right.
There was a big, I'm sorry baby, there was an accident on 81, which is not surprising. It's
Right.
a hideous road, which is why it took 12 hours. But, so yeah, this has been my dream for a long time.
That's awesome. So the reason that we have Baku in here, Baku is a three-banded armadillo, and he isn't alive, he's just kind of balled up. But the reason that he is in here is he is related to the sloths and also the giant anteaters. They are in the super order of the thorns, which means thin spine, and they have the ability to curl all the way up on themselves. His outside of here, you can touch it. Feel how warm it is?
Yeah.
So that's called his carapace, and he is a mammal, but he has this shell that's living. And it's made of the same material as like our hair and our nails, which is keratin. So when they're born, they have like a soft, leathery covering, usually only one at a time, occasionally there's two, but usually one. And you can see his little claws, see how they look just like hers?
Yes.
Yeah. So he'll get to about the size of almost the sucker ball, and he'll run 30 miles an hour.
What?
30
miles an hour?
I always say it's the fastest russet potato on heels that you've ever seen. Because when he runs around,
He's so small.
yep. He might just go back to sleep. I'm surprised that he's still sleeping this late. Sometimes he's like real scurry, but what he loves, we found out, he likes his back scratched.
Oh.
He'll shake his booty. See? Isn't that
Great. That's great.
And he'll probably run around here in a second now that I kind of woke him up. And he's going to inspect your shoes. He's not going to hurt you or anything, but he's always looking for bugs or grubs or different things like that. And that's part of the reason that we have this little box, is we put little things in there for him to find. So that way he can get the same behavior.
So, do sloths have any aggression to any animal?
Not really. Their main defense is hiding. Hiding and being quiet. So, out in the wild, they're going to have algae living on them and all those bugs. And their hair actually has microscopic cracks inside of it. So everything is actually growing inside the follicles of their hair. So they've even tried to see if there's some really good medicinal uses, because it's very unusual that a hair has a crack in it and that things grow and continue to thrive.
So you've never seen a sloth hair like visibly react to another animal or a sound or?
The sound, they're more like they start, and what they'll do, like it's starting to get pretty loud, and she might pull into you, and it's not like an aggression, they're just like, hey, are we safe?
Oh, okay.
Occasionally Flash tries to come in just to look around. He has no interest in her.
That's what John said.
Yeah. Her, on the other hand, she's like, what are you doing? You want to play? You want to give me a high five? And then they kind of touch claws for a second. And then he's like, get away. It's pretty fun.
You're so sweet. You're so sweet.
She has a good little appetite.
Yes.
And when they get fruit, it's like our version of ice cream.
What fruit do they like?
Mango, bananas, apples. John tell you about the ziplining sloth? So in Costa Rica, they put trackers on them and trying to see where they're going. And so they had one sloth that was like just moving so much, and they're like, what the heck is going on? And so they got there and they're waiting to watch, and they're looking at the trackers. And on the banana plantations, they put lines up and then they zip the bananas. So the sloth was sitting on the clumps of bananas and just riding them. I was like, that would be hilarious to see. Yeah, I stayed in Costa Rica for a couple months for kayaking.
You did.
Mm-hmm. We were
Is
in.
that spectacular?
It is. There's still like portions that are just like any other big city. Like San Jose is like I prefer to leave San Jose as soon as possible.
Yeah.
But the little town that we stayed a lot in was Terralba, and it's really close to like the Ravenizon, the Pei Bahi, and where they have a bunch of sloths. So it's funny, like they would just always just be balled up, like they just look like bees' nests. And then occasionally you see them move, but they're usually so far away that you're like, I think that's a sloth.
You're just about getting it all, Zoe.
She put a hurting on it. And she'll probably cuddle now that she's done eating.
This is our stress or exertion state. This is our relaxed state. For the sloth, his relaxed state is this. His tendons are super tight through his hands.
So how long have you been here?
I've been here about a year and a half.
He is exerting no energy.
I mainly came here at first to help with their social media. So when I started, they had 2,500 people on Facebook, and that was it. And now we have about 160,000 on Facebook and TikTok, and making cool things on YouTube. She's not leaving, she's just smelling. Hey, Zoe. Yep.
Let me see your pretty face.
The reason she keeps smelling that is somebody had a drink in there and I think they spilled something, and so she's like, it smells different over here. And she's looking at Baku, is what she's looking at. But they're roomies.
Yeah.
And the reason that they're both in here is it's the same environment, and that they would live together if they were living in Brazil. That's why I put them together. But we want to get another armadillo and name her Shaka Khan. So we'd have Bakugan and Shaka Khan, and then we'd have awesome music. See, this is what he does.
Oh, I can see that.
Sometimes it startles people, so. So are you looking for the last crumb?
Daytime high in the rainforest, mid or upper 80s, nighttime low high 60s. So
You would get your napkin real quick, Collins.
all that range of temperatures every single day. His cool water temperature can be 19 degrees Fahrenheit lower in the night than it is in the day.
Let's see you, silly.
It is.
The yeah, rebanded.
Let's do a little bit of this.
Sloth also cannot make.
And this will be here. You can wipe your hand off first, so you don't feel like you've been slimed. And then, so I'm kind of breaking these up a little bit shorter for you. And you can just put a napkin in that other bowl to your right. And you can hand me the bowl with the napkin, and I'll switch this out with you. There you go. Now you got a couple little sticks to feed her to keep her occupied. She's got a good appetite.
You're so cute.
I think I need a helmet in here. Don't I?
Tickling me.
Oh, Baku? Baku, sweet bud. He's looking for bugs in your shoes.
You're so adorable.
So that's the teeth on that dude, right? If you were a scientist and you dug up the skeleton of a sloth in the forest, and you did not know what a sloth was,
Oh yeah, and her teeth will continue to get pretty big.
on a sloth, the claws on a sloth, the bill-like
We don't do near as much talking when people hold Zoe because most people aren't listening anyway because they're like enjoying the moment.
arms, you would certainly be coming up with an apex top of the food chain type idea of what this animal is.
See how small her pupils are?
You would definitely not have the idea that this is a slow, peaceful
You
animal.
can see her little nose start going as soon as she smells something new. She's like, all right, I'm gonna eat this.
Tickles a little bit.
He's hilarious, and I love it when his ears pop out when he puts his head out for the Baku, because his ears just fold in. He's like a cartoon character.
Our baby sloths sit in your lap and snuggle with you and cuddle, and they are